YouTube, what's happening? So we're back with another Share a Six Pack with Metal Madness Geoff. Remember, we're gas masks and hand grenades now, not Metal Madness 66. But I got a six pack and a box set that's not really a box set, but it's kind of a box set because while it doesn't have a box and it's not in a, well, it is in a set. So there you go. It's kind of a box set, but it's actually 12 albums that were released once a month for a year from 06 until 07, December of 06 to November of 07. We'll get to that in a minute, but first off, let's start with the regular CDs. And I fear that one of these I may have shown before. And again, I just reach in, grab some stuff out of various boxes. I was digging around for stuff to do deep dives on coming up, like David Bowie and my Icon and Fifth Angel stuff. And I was looking around and I just started grabbing stuff. And I may have accidentally pulled one that I did show before, but I'm not going back and looking. So, first up, we got Badlands. Jakey Lee, Eric Singer, now in Kiss. Believe this might have been his first band or his first album. I could be wrong on that. He probably has stuff from that I'm not aware of, but this is his first major label band that I'm aware of. Greg Chason on bass. Great Ray Gillen on vocals, but we're going to talk about Ray Gillen in a sec here. This is a debut after Jake left Ozzy, or was let go, or however that worked out. I'm not really sure. I think he left of his own accord. Jake put together this band. Very different from Ozzy. Very different from the kind of hair and glam metal stuff that was going on in the mid to late 80s. This came out on May 11th, 1989, was produced by Paul O'Neill. If you know your rock history, you'll know that Paul O'Neill was one of the instrumental guys behind Trans-Siberian Orchestra, along with John Oliva from Savatage. He was also very, very deeply involved with Savatage in the early days, and I don't know exactly how he got involved with this. I heard a story about it. I think he was looking for a band to produce. Somebody at the Atlantic labels, and it's Titanium Atlantic. I think Titanium was like an imprint of Atlantic. Somebody said, hey, you got to check this new band out Jake's doing. And Paul O'Neill ended up producing the album. I gathered there was some stress there from what I understand listening to a interview with Jake. I could be wrong about that, but I seem to recall him not being super happy with the way things went down there. But the interesting thing about this album is that it came out in 89. And again, if you know your rock history, Ray Gillen died of HIV, AIDS. I want to say December of 93. I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's when it was. They put out two major label albums, this one and the second one, which is called Voodoo Highway, which I think came out in 91, because that's the year I saw him. I think it was 91. I saw him at Hammerjacks down in Baltimore sometime in the fall of 1991. And it was weird because I remember thinking that Ray didn't look so hot. Like, he looked super skinny, and he was a big, tall dude, pretty muscular and fit, and he just didn't look great in that particular show when I saw him. And anyway, long story short, this album, then they did a third album called Dusk, which came out on Pony Kenya, I think, in Japan only, which I have all three of those, and we'll probably do them in one of the 80s, 90s, Forgotten Gems things. Although this isn't what I would call a forgotten band at all. This album in particular is fucking killer. It's kind of a cross between like a heavy hard rock Zeppelin and maybe a little bit of Skynyrd and Almonds, but not really. It's just the kind of the motif and the vibe of it's a little bit southern, but it's not really southern rock at all. I'd say this album resembles a lot of like the first two Zeppelin albums, maybe a little bit of the fourth one. Amazing vocals by Ray Gillen, one of the most underrated. Well, I don't think he was underrated. He bopped around to a couple different things. He sang with Sabbath before he came to this project. I gather he was a bit of a prima donna from things I read and heard. I don't know that for sure. He may have been a super cool dude. I don't know, but I gathered there was some difficulties there with him personality-wise, particularly with the Sabbath camp. Dude had a fucking amazing voice. And Jake, I mean, Jake's just Jake. He's amazing. Craig Chason, really solid, great bass player. And Eric Singer, man, he wouldn't be in Kiss if he couldn't do it, right? But this album, great songs like High Wire. Oh, man, that opening riff. So killer. Dreams in the Dark was kind of the radio single. Winter's Call. Fucking so good, man. Streets Cry Freedom. Killer. Hard Driver. Rumbling Train. Devil Stomp. Those are all the kind of like the more southern angled sort of songs. And then Seasons. Fucking A. What a song, man. But this one is the Japanese version. And the reason I ended up with this, and I'm very glad I did, I got it on eBay one day, and I'm pretty sure I got it for about $25, which is, I don't know what it's going for now, but I bet you couldn't find it for that. Maybe you could, but I bet you couldn't. You see all the tiny Japanese. I know there's a name for that, and I can't remember what the Japanese language is called. My kid would punch me if she knew that I just called it the Japanese language. There's a name for it, something with an M. Anyways, I ended up getting this probably closing in on 8-9 years ago, when you could not find this CD anywhere. I mean, maybe you could on Discogs. I probably didn't know about Discogs 8-10 years ago. I think I got this 8 years ago. 14 or 15. Anyway, you couldn't find this anywhere because Atlantic would not reissue it. Because, again, if you know your history, Ray Gillen died of HIV in 93, and apparently he infected a few women with HIV before he passed away. He was sleeping with them when he was still well enough to pass it off as, oh, I'm just not feeling well or whatever. You know, he somehow passed off the look before he got too ill. And Atlantic would not repress this because any monies, I believe there was a couple lawsuits involved. And again, there's a pretty good interview out there with Jake. I think it's on Tone Talk. Him and Dave Friedman get pretty loaded, and I'm pretty sure they address this, I think. Anyway, you couldn't find the CD anywhere. I don't know that it got removed from the market, but you just couldn't find it. You couldn't find it on the secondary market. You couldn't buy it new because it was not repressed. Because out of respect for the families, they didn't want to repress this thing. And I think if they did, they were going to have to give like all the money or a big portion of the money to the families of the people that were, you know, the women that were afflicted by him. And I think it was 3 to 5 women, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if that's not fact, but that's what I recall. They did finally, I think Cherry Red finally got the rights to this in the last couple years. Repressed it with a big booklet. I did not pick it up because I already got an original. And you can see that's pretty cool. There's the again, these Japanese characters. And I guess it says Warner Pioneer Corporation. I guess Titanium might have been potentially the Japanese label. I didn't look that far into it. So, Badlands. Spent a lot of time on that one. Sorry. Next up, an OG copy of Knights of the New Thunder by TNT. This came out in 1984. I couldn't find an actual release date. On Phonogram, or Vertigo and Phonogram in Germany. Polygram was the parent label. This one I probably bought very early on when CDs came out. Maybe 1989, 1990, 91 at the latest. I think this is one of my original CD purchases because I love this album. This has a bonus track on it, which I think is the Euro version. I don't think it's on the original version. I could be wrong. Printed in West Germany, yeah. So, TNT, Tony Harnell, Ronnie Latecro. Man, Ronnie is a monster freaking guitar player on this album. Oh, damn. Killer metal, melodic metal. Not Motley Crue glammy stuff, but Tony Harnell's voice, crazy high. He just had, again, though, this isn't like Queensryche prog or something. It's not proggy. It's kind of in that traditional hair metal. It's kind of glammy. Obviously, you can see by, oh, wait. You can see by the picture on the back. Oh, man. Let's see if I can get it to... There we go. A little better. Lots of makeup in those dudes back in the day. But, man, killer songs like Seven Seas, Ready to Leave, I'm ready to leave. Last Summer's Evil. Yeah, I can't even get close to hitting that note. Break the Ice, Deadly Metal, Knights of the New Thunder. Eddie likes torture and pain. Eddie, I think, was the bonus track on here, weirdly enough. But on the album, I'm pretty sure it's just a regular track. So, TNT from Norway, Trondheim, I believe, 1984. Those guys were not hanging out with the Mayhem dudes, clearly. This is the one I think I may have shown. Popol, which this is the soundtrack to Nosferatu, which was the Werner Herzog remake of the original Nosferatu, the 1922 Max Schreck. Crap, I'm forgetting the director's name. Or was that the director? Oh, man, my cred is... Should have reminded myself of this. I forget who was in that movie. If it was Max Schreck was the character or the... I think Max Schreck was the actor. But I could be wrong on that. Let's see. I'll look that up before we end up... but these were reissued. This came out in 1978. The original version on the Brain Records label in Germany. And it was produced by Garland Augustin. And this is the SPV, 2004 SPV reissue. I grabbed like 4 or 5. Agape was one, and I don't remember how to pronounce stuff in Germany. 2 other titles I have of this. This band. This is my favorite album by them, and it's just such an evocative, cool, wistful, mystical sounding soundtrack. One of my favorite soundtracks. I think Eric Bauer and I talked about this. I think it might be one of his favorites too. Just killer. Original soundtrack, Popol. SPV reissued these. I don't think you can find these out there very easily anymore either. You might be able to, but I just don't know. If you haven't seen the 1978 Werner Herzog version of Nosferatu, you should do that. Klaus Kinski's in it. I think that's it. I can't remember who the other actors and actresses are, but man, what a fucking killer movie. All right, Karl Denison. This guy plays with Lenny Kravitz, with the Stones, with the All-Stars band. I mean, just a great All-Stars band. Tons and tons of bands he's recorded on their albums. This one I came into possession of because a good buddy of mine, I was out in 2005 with a friend of mine, lived in Venice Beach, and I went out to hang out for like 2 weeks to follow Porcupine Tree around. And he was playing this all the time, and I just fucking loved it. Great sax, funk, fun, man. It's just a fun album. If you like jazzy, breezy, California, saxy, not sexy, well, it's kind of sexy too. Saxy, sort of jazzy, like patio music. This shit's the shit. Karl Denison. That came out in 2001 on Capitol. Dance Lessons number 2, produced by Karl Denison, Eric Newson. One of the CDs that Rick sent me in a bundle of Aha stuff. This is their 2000 release called Minor Earth, Major Sky. Probably my favorite one of them. Came out on Warner Music Group. It was produced by Boogeyman, Roland Spenberg, and Aha. It came out April 14th, 2000. Man, Martin Hockett. That's the reason to get into this band. I mean, his voice is just magical. And on top of that, the rest of the band is no slouch at writing incredible pop music that's very listenable, very, very actually progressive in a lot of ways. It's almost like prog pop. Killer stuff. Really, really killer stuff. What else do I have here? Last one of the regulars. Came out 4/22/01. This is an OG copy, a Peaceville copy of Autopsy's Mental Funeral. You can see how tiny the lettering is. It's hysterical because, oh, you can't see because of the reflection there. Oh, come on. Really? You're going to be that dickish? Well, you couldn't see it even if there wasn't a reflection there from the light in the background. But made in Germany. And this, along with Coroner's Mental Vortex, Catatonia's Last Fair Deal Gone Down, or whatever it's called, Last Fair Deal. Also, probably the first 2 or 3 Ulver albums, the first 3 in particular, the originals, were the first, in the first wave of death metal stuff I bought. Death or Black. This one probably I got, man, 2001, 2002. This has just come out. I walked into a Relapse Records store down on 4th Street, the corner of 4th and South Street in Philly. I was actually going to a Porcupine Tree show, and this was playing, and I was horrified, literally terrified by it. And then I saw the artwork. I'm like, Jesus, what the hell is wrong with these guys? And, but it's one of my favorites, if not my favorite Autopsy album. Just the atmosphere is dank and dripping with horror and nastiness and just evil, disgusting autopsiness. Love this album. Love it. And you'll see the print on the print on the jacket is just, you can't even make it out. Like, there's no way. I can't make any of those words out, especially the font they use, which is bizarre. So anyway, those are the 6 standard CDs out of the collection. But then I got this box set. Now, again, as I said, it's not in a box. And I believe I mentioned this found sound artist. Excuse me, some ginger watermelon tea. This found sound artist, English guy named Andrew Lyles. He works with Stephen Stapleton of Nurse with Wound, Colin Potter, Nurse with Wound, who also is a found sound drone guy. Jonathan Colclough is another dude from that. Colin Potter, I said him. Paul Bradley, another one of those guys. Thomas Koner. I really was super into drone. But I got into this guy because of Steve Wilson. Because Andrew Lyles remixed one of his like 3rd Bass Communion drone album, which is one of my favorites. And I started chasing this stuff down with Andrew Lyles. And I'm going to tell you right now, people, if you want to try to collect original Andrew Lyles stuff, good luck. You're going to pay a lot of money if you can even find it. And there is a metric fuck ton of this stuff out there. It is insane how much stuff this guy has recorded in the last 20 years. Every one of these albums, this is called the Black Series, the Negro Series. Every one of them comes in these really killer, not gloss, I don't know what you call it, matte cardstock with really, really amazing, stunning kind of artwork on the gatefolds as well. Lots of really trippy, weird stuff. And it's called the Vortex Vault series, but the Black series, I think, is, or maybe it was just called the Vortex Vault, and everything was black, and everything starts with black. So there's 12 of them that came out once a month from December, I believe, of 2006 through November of 2007. The first one was with Kenji Satori? Kenji Shiratori, I believe it is. The rest are just him, but this one is, each one of these things has anywhere from 8 tracks or 7 tracks up to like 25 tracks. Again, found sound, very bizarre stuff. And this is forming part 1 of the Vortex Vault. So it's called the Vortex Vault series. One per month, all black, all with black in the title. All of them came then with, some of them came with this little mini trippy fucking freaky card with some creature, like you can't really see it. But this creature down there is the devil of some sort. And there's a little crib there, I believe. No, it's not a crib. Looks like it's like a courtroom, actually. And this one, I didn't even read that, but it has writing on it. This is the only one that has that card. And then they all come in a little slipcase, CD like this. These are professionally done. And then they come with most of them came, and see here it says the Black Series. So it's Vortex Vault Black Series, I guess, is what it's called. And they would all come with this sort of flimsy cardstock protectant for the CD, right? But then each one of them came signed. And you can see this is number 18 of 300. You can kind of make out the writing at the bottom there. And then Andrew Lyles autographed all of these. Now, the weird thing is I have a couple of these I discovered that don't have the autograph in them, which kind of bugs me a little bit because all 300 were supposed to have them. But I bought a couple of these directly from Andrew Lyles. Oh, and the other thing, too, to note is that they're supposed to all come with an Obi band, right? So if you look here, that's the first one in the series. They're all supposed to come with an Obi band like this one. You can see the Obi band. And it's a cool little band. This is for the album, the second in the series called, which came out in 07. There you can see the band in there. This one's called Black Beauty. And again, comes with the really cool artwork, the gatefold. It's glued together in the front. You can't get in there, but it has a pouch in the back section. And again, this one comes with, here's another. This one. Now, I didn't get them all. Mine's 79 out of 300, so none of mine match. I thought I had gotten an actual, because I think what happened here was I started to order a couple of these, and I dug them. And then it was like my buddy Steve Wilson in Porcupine Tree said, hey, I'm going to send you some of these. I got a promo box or something, like a promo pack of them. And I said, well, dude, I already ordered like half of them. So some of them he sent me, I believe, and some are from Andrew Lyles directly, like when I bought them from the online store that he had very early on. Might even been like a MySpace page. I don't remember. But yeah, you can see here's the little slip case, the little Obi slip. And they all have that. Now, the only other one I want to show you, which kind of bums me the fuck out because I'll never be able to find a copy. Well, maybe I can, but somebody will make me pay through the nose, and I don't want it that bad. But so this is album number 2. Album number 3 is Black. So it's Black Paper, Black Beauty, Black End, Black Mamba, Black Market, Blackout, Black Panther, Black Pool, Black Sheep, Black Widow, and Black Sea. Those are the 12 monthly albums in the Vortex Vault. All these were done on Beta Lactam Ring, which is Stephen Stapleton's label, I believe, for Nurse with Wound, who Andrew's tied in with and has been for about the last 20 years. They came out again from December 06 through November of 07. He also put out, during 07, he put out like 4 other albums, full-length albums. In 06, he put like 9 albums out. You got to understand, this guy probably has, I'm thinking he's got in excess of 100, maybe 120 albums. You'd have to go look. There's box sets, and when people ask what's Andrew Lyles, it's like it's anything and everything. He's done some weird metal shit. He's done some weird psychedelic trippy stuff. It's a lot of drone and black ambient. It's a lot of found sound. It's a lot of haunting stuff, like My Long Accumulating Discontent is fucking amazing, and Unworld is fucking amazing. Scary, like haunting, fucking trippy shit. Again, I don't know what stuff of his is available. A lot of it's downloadable you can get from the website. But I don't think you can get these. Well, I know you can't get these in hard copy form anymore. There's no way. But, maybe on Discogs or eBay, you might find somebody that wants to get rid of their stuff. Now, the only other one I wanted to show you, and I discovered this going through this and totally, completely forgot about it. I have one that had to have come from Andrew. I had to have. It's got the Obi. It's called Black Panther, okay? But what really sucks about this is it's cool and not cool at the same time. It's a promotional review copy, not for sale, but it was sold to me. I had to have gotten it from him, unless he gave it to Steve and Steve passed it on to me. But what really sucks is they cut the fucking corner off. And they didn't put a sign thing in here. And they just threw the CD in. So I don't know if this one just came to me like that, and I just was like, whatever, I won't buy one. But that sucks because I have the whole set except for this one, which is kind of fucking Mars a little bit because it's not, it's damaged, kind of, sort of. But here, this will give you an idea of how weird Andrew Lyles is. These are the tracks forming the 9th part of the Vortex Vault. Introduction, Salvation, Rachel, Solitaire, The Formation of Birds, Only a Puddle to Play With, Shaved Hoo-Hoo, Smoky, Pink Fish to the Plum, Kitchen Cold, My Sweet Crippled Sister, Fuzzy Felt and the Velcro Merkin. You know what a merkin is. It's something that covers your schwanz if you're a dude and doing a partial nude scene, but you don't want to show your whole wang. Fuzzy